Was war das jetzt? War das jetzt das Spiel oder... Dickkopf. Widder.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry. Is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choose responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just
also Leute, egal was passiert, ihr wisst, was ich tue. Ich werde es nochmal machen.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors. He entered the door on his left.
Und nein!
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry. Is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Nein! Nein! Ich wollte ihn verarschen, ich hab's nicht geschafft. Verdammt. Na, schauen wir mal, was jetzt los ist. Oh. Tips for not.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Okay. How to solve a dispute with a coworker. Using slides to assure employees that everything is okay. Make sure your slide has a slick blue graphic. Ach, leckt mich doch am Honigkuchen. Guck ich mir halt das hier an. Synergize, Core Value, Expeditious. Okay, Shift Global Market Parade. Monetize, free to play. Stripes. What is hot? Profits, profits, profits. Target. Demographic. Teenagers. What do people want? Things, money, more money, things, but with money to buy more things. Graphs, graphs about things and money. We have our new product. Okay. We need reviews. 402 and 405 want to get rid of the dashboard portion in the primary review schedule, but I think that's a stupid idea. Where's I? Wer ist das? More water coolers, heaters. Okay. Charts need to be more hip to appeal to teenage demographic. Find teenagers to put in teenage demographic. Big net. Some sort of child trap. Das war was Verbotenes. Threw something in the idea bin. Der Mülleimer. So, okay. Ja, das war erstmal gut. Broom Closet. Okay. So.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Kann ich springen? Jump, 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 jump around. Okay. Hier kann ich nicht lang. Wo ist es denn? Wo ist es denn? So. Belletage. Belletage, genau das für die verdammten Geschäftsleitungsmenschen. So, das sieht aber schon sehr erdrückend aus. Okay, ich habe ja keine andere Wahl.
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
Was zur Hölle? Boah. Mal so ein armen Panda hier. Schön die Knarre an den Kopf gehalten. Na, sehr nett. Na, sehr nett.
Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
Das ist echt übel.
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
Hallo? Was ist hier?
Okay, fine. You're not going to do it. But you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously.
Stanley.
If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Geh rechts.
Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Is everything all right? Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need
Okay.
you. The story needs you. So, you hear me? Are you there? You're listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay.
Mann, Mann, wie
I
geil.
can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
Stanley. Wir sind wieder am Anfang.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay. Ich bin gespannt. War's das jetzt schon?
When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room,
es
and
fängt wieder
Stanley knew
an.
it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes, this room. What but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Nein. Nein, noch sind wir nicht so drauf.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he
Ja,
wasn't
das hören wir
5
alles,
years
aber ich
ago.
bin jetzt mal gespannt.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about.
Es sieht so aus oder hört sich so an, dass das Spiel jetzt wieder von vorne angefangen hat.
Now, I'm not asking for me. I'm asking for
Okay,
her.
her.
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself.
Okay.
To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley. You need to be the...
Ich gehe ran. Hallo? Wer spricht da mit mir?
Oh, Stanley, is that you?
Ja.
Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the
Oh
oven.
ja, Brot.
All right. Okay, there we
Mach
go.
auf.
All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had
Penner.
a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going
Na
on
gut,
here.
gehen wir mal mit. Ich verstehe.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Drücke U. Drücken wir mal U.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his
Oh, Mann.
existence.
Sei mal nicht so fies.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Ich will jetzt nicht mehr einen Knopf drücken. Mir reicht's. Mir reicht's, mir reicht's, mir reicht's, mir reicht's. Nein, nein, nein. Hallo? Hallo, hallo, hallo. Ich darf das nur noch tun. You can't jump. Ich will aber springen. Ah! Mann, Mann, Mann. Okay, hilft ja nichts.
But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful, and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Da ist der Fernseher. Na gut, tun wir's, tun wir's, tun wir's. Hallo, O. Ich hab doch O gedrückt. Los. O geht nicht. O ist kaputt. O, O, O. O, O, O. Oder ist das 0? 0!
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Okay, hey Mann, nerv mich nicht. Jetzt nochmal ein T.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
8.
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Aha.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Okay.
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
Mann.
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it. You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't. Not in the way I want him to. I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I
Und wir sind wieder am Anfang.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the
Und
meeting room. Perhaps
die
he
nächste
simply missed
Runde.
the memo.
Dieses Mal
When
machen wir
Stanley
es
came to
so.
a set of two open, this
Ihr
was
seid
not
schon
the correct
genervt,
way
hoffe
to the
ich.
meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime,
ja, sehr
a
schön.
work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on
Jetzt
his
machen wir
left.
es.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Ach komm, einmal können wir es doch machen.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's
Jetzt
office.
gehen wir einfach wieder runter.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy.
So ist
And
es.
then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating?
Ja.
No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all.
Wieder.
And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Oha.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream.
Ja.
So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Aber ich bin noch hier.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Meine Fresse.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, if this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Oha. Oh mein Gott, was ist da denn los? Jetzt sind wir ja schon komplett des Wahnsinns verfallen und eine nette Passantin bedauert uns nur noch und ist froh, nicht wir zu sein. Und wir haben den Abspann gesehen, das erste Mal eines der möglichen Ende von The Stanley Parable. Ich bin weiterhin sehr gespannt, wie es noch weitergeht, möchte noch weiter den Erzähler ärgern. Irgendwann werde ich Ihnen aber auch mal ein bisschen entgegenkommen. Auf jeden Fall hoffe ich, ihr habt Spaß und schaltet demnächst wieder ein, wenn es heißt Fuchurs Let's Plays. Macht's gut!
Zur Grind, zur Ghost, keiner fragt auf dieses Gefühl.